Hello future doctors, welcome to Anatomy Ki Duniya. I am Himanshu Bijlani, doing MBBS first year from Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College, Ajmer. So today we will be discussing another view of the skull, that is Norma occipitalis. So let's start. Okay, so let me first revise all the important landmarks that were discussed in the last video. So the Norma verticalis consists of frontal bone to parietal bone and the posterior part of the occipital bone. It consists of mainly three sutures, that are the coronal, which lie in the coronal plane. Second one is the sagittal, which lie in the sagittal plane, and third one is the lambdoid suture. This one was the lambdoid suture. The point on which the coronal and the sagittal suture meet was the bregma. The point on which the sagittal and the lambdoid suture meet was the lambda. And here were the two temporal lines, one was the superior and one was the inferior. This point was the oblion, the straight line which is present between the zigzag lines of the sagittal suture, and near the oblion were the presence of the parietal foramen through which the emissary vein passes. Okay, so now we will move forward with our next topic, that is Norma occipitalis. The Norma occipitalis is convex upwards. See this one, it is convex upwards, and on each side it is flattened below. See, it is flattened below on each side. It is convex upwards, and on each side it is flattened below. So now coming to the bones that are seen in Norma occipitalis. It consists of the posterior parts of the parietal bone. Second one is the squamous part of the occipital bone. See this one. See this. The Norma occipitalis is basically is stretched up to the superior nuchal line. What is superior nuchal line? That will be discussed afterwards in the later part of the video. Now coming to the third part, that is the mastoid part of the temporal bone. See this one is the mastoid part of the temporal bone. Now coming to the sutures that are present on the Norma Norma occipitalis. So this one is sagittal suture, this one is the lambdoid suture, this whole one is lambdoid suture, this one is the mastoid suture, this one is the mastoid suture, and this one is the occipitomastoid suture. See this one. This one is the occipito, which is present between the occipital bone and the mastoid bone. This one is present between the parietal bone and the mastoid part of the temporal bone. So it is very easy to remember these sutures because their names are indicating their position. So now coming to the other features or the important features that are present on the Norma occipitalis. So first point is the lambda, which is the meeting point of the sagittal suture and the lambdoid suture. Now coming to the parietal foramen. This one is the parietal foramen, which is present on either side of the oblion. This one is oblion. From parietal foramen the emissary vein passes. Now coming to the third important point, that is the external occipital protuberance. See this one is the external occipital protuberance, which is a point which is a median prominence in the lower part of the Norma occipitalis. It marks the junction of the head and neck. See this point marks the junction of head and the neck part, which lies below this head part. So the most prominent point on the most prominent point on the external occipital protuberance is known as the inion. Now coming to the superior nuchal lines. This one is the superior nuchal line. So what is the superior nuchal line? The superior nuchal lines are the curved bony ridges passing laterally from the protuberance. See this. This one is the external occipital protuberance and these ones are the superior nuchal line. So these lines are the small elevation that move laterally to the external occipital protuberance. See this one. If I draw a line here, this one is the median line, and the superior nuchal line moves away from this line. That means it is moving laterally to the median plane of the body. These also mark the junction of head and neck. I have already told you. The area below the superior nuchal line will be studied with the Norma basalis. So this point, the superior nuchal line, can also be told as the junction between the Norma occipitalis and the Norma basalis. Now coming to the fourth point, that is the highest nuchal line. See, the highest nuchal lines are present only in some individuals. It is not present uniquely in every individual. So the highest nuchal lines, they are the curved bony ridges situated 1 centimeter above the superior nuchal line. See, this one is the highest nuchal line, which is present 1 centimeter above the superior nuchal line. They begin from the upper part of the external occipital protuberance and are more arched than the superior nuchal line. So you can easily appreciate this. The highest nuchal line is more curved as compared to the superior nuchal line. Now coming to the fifth point, that is the occipital point. It is the median point a little above the inion. See, I have told you that the inion is the prominent part of the external occipital protuberance. So the occipital point lies just above, a little above to the inion. So the inion somewhat lie here, and the occipital point somewhat lie here. Now coming to the mastoid foramen. Mastoid foramen is, the name indicates that it should be present on the mastoid part of the temporal bone. So mastoid foramen is present here. It is located on the mastoid part of temporal bone or near the occipitomastoid suture. See, this one was the occipitomastoid suture. The mastoid foramen transmits an emissary vein and the meningeal branch of the occipital artery. Now coming to the seventh.
Okay, so let me show you
point,
the sutural or the Wormian bone.
It is the meeting
Now,
point.
what are these bones? These are the small flat bones which are present between the flat bones of the skull. So you can easily visualize this by seeing this diagram, the presence of the Wormian bone. Now coming to the interparietal bone or the Inca bone. These bones are occasionally present. It is a large triangular bone which is located at the apex of the squamous occipital. This is not a sutural or the accessory bone, but represents the membranous part of the occipital bone which has failed to fuse with the rest of the bone. So now you can easily visualize or easily differentiate between the Inca bone and the Wormian or the sutural bone. Okay, so what will be the difference between the Inca bone and the Wormian bone? The Inca bone is triangular. The Wormian bones are not triangular. These are flat bones and are present generally between the two flat bones. And while the Inca bone is present at the apex of the squamous occipital. Also, the interparietal bone or the Inca bone cannot be told as completely as a bone. It is basically the membranous part of the occipital bone. So this one is the important differentiation between the Inca bone and the Wormian bone.
So now coming to the attachments of the Norma occipitalis. So I will just read, I will first read all the attachments and then I will show you in the 3D view. So the upper part of the external occipital protuberance gives origin to the trapezius, and the lower part gives attachment to the upper end of the ligamentum nuchae.
Okay, so now coming to the ligamentum nuchae,
the medial
which originates from the lower end of the external occipital protuberance. You can see a whitish transparent ligament.
Insertion to the
You can clearly visualize
sternocleidomastoid
this
above
by seeing this diagram.
and to the splenius capitis below. Okay, so now coming to the first point, that is the attachment of trapezius muscle. So this one is the trapezius muscle, which originates from the superior nuchal line. Let me just zoom it. So this one is the superior nuchal line, and trapezius muscle originate from this point. Okay, so let me show you the insertion of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So this one is the sternocleidomastoid muscle. It originates from the sternum and the clavicle. It has two heads of origin. One is the sternum and another is the clavicle. It inserts on the lateral part of the superior nuchal line. The highest nuchal line, if present, provide the attachment to the epicranial aponeurosis medially and give origin to the occipitalis or the occipital belly of the occipitofrontalis muscle laterally. In case of absence of highest nuchal lines, these structures are attached to the superior nuchal line. So this one is the occipital belly of occipitofrontalis. This one is the epicranial aponeurosis. This one is the frontal belly of occipitofrontalis muscle. So the occipital belly of occipitofrontalis muscle generally attaches to the superior nuchal line, but if the highest nuchal line is present, it will attach to the highest nuchal line.
That's all for today. Hope you visualize all the important points, all the attachments of Norma occipitalis. For today's task is you have to tell me that what are the various processes of the temporal bone, and you have to tell me that what is the significance of the point osteon. See, in the video I have told you that osteon is the point of meeting of the lambdoid suture, occipitomastoid suture and the peritomastoid suture. So you have to tell me that what is the significance of the osteon. For today's homework, you have to just go through all the landmarks and all the attachments of the Norma occipitalis. So please share this video to your friends, to all the future doctors, and please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get the latest update. Thank you.